Gareth Declan, and can I just concur with Declan's comments in relation to the tragic events that unfolded over last weekend in Creeslough in County Donegal, and I'm sure that everybody in the room would have their thoughts very much with those devastated families and a devastated community. So it's a real honour to be here this evening, and a huge thank you to everybody who's helped to put this together, but also a huge thank you to all who've come along to participate in panels, and to all of you for coming along this evening to hear what is being said and to participate in a conversation, because that's ultimately what this is about. And I think given the numbers of people that wanted to come along this evening, coming on the back of what was a very successful event in Dublin a few weeks ago, when the Ireland's Future event, it shows that this is a real live conversation and there's a real interest in the debate. And that's a healthy thing. It's a very healthy space for us to be in, and I hope that that can continue into the weeks, months and years ahead as we go through this period of change, an unstoppable change and a momentum for change, which I think is happening as we speak. Back in 2020, I had described this period that we now live in as the decade of opportunity. And tonight's People's Assembly is part of us trying to make the best of that opportunity that we have in front of us. And I am very hopeful, as I said, that we're entering into this era of change and that we're living through changing times. And I think all of that is continuing to slowly but continue to gather pace. I believe that a growing number of people across the society are really starting to reevaluate. They're really starting to think about the present realities and how that's impacting on all of our lives, and also how it's impacting on the very fabric of our society. There's no doubt that people are questioning, what does the future hold? What does that look like? What are the opportunities? What do we have ahead of us? And I think people are also questioning, what could the future look like? What outside of the Union, and what are the opportunities for us in that scenario? I think this Commission on the Future of Ireland is about the future and about examining all of that. Let's have the conversation that Declan says around all the issues that we need to discuss, because I think we have to identify and we have to have the confidence in ourselves to be able to have the conversations around the many complex issues that there will need to be resolved if we're going to find the opportunity that exists for all of us, Protestant, Catholic and dissenter. We're here to discuss the most important political issue of this, and I believe of previous generations, and that is the right of our people to self-determination. We're discussing the creation of a new Ireland, one which is inclusive, and it must be inclusive, one which is rights-based, one which is democratic, and one that is based on equality. And I think that's the challenge that is facing all of us. You see, our present reality is this. The Tories who are in power in Britain at this moment in time have no mandate here. Yet they're the people that are making fundamental political and policy decisions that are affecting everybody's lives every day, whether that's on mortgages, on pensions, savings, public sector pay, the rates of taxation, and all those decisions are being taken not in our interest, not in the best interest of the people who live here on this island, but purely on the basis of what's in the interest of a rich Tory elite. And for me, that highlights the folly of partition and the inequality of partition. I think that the partition of the island and the denial of our right to govern ourselves has created long scars, a long scarred history that we now have. And I think Brexit was a case in point. Whenever we rejected that, we said we didn't want to leave the EU, but that's now been done to us, and it's exacerbated the folly of partition. And I also believe, sadly, that it's deepened divisions. So this Commission, I think, comes at a good time. It comes at a time whenever we have to challenge and discuss all of the things that are important to us. And it has to be a conversation about what's better. What could be better for us? What could we do better together? What could we achieve better together? For me, it's about social justice. It's about a roof over your head. It's about a job and good wages. It's about food on your table. It's about access to healthcare and education. And it's about a sustainable, clean environment. Next year, we're going to mark 25 years of the Good Friday Agreement. And whilst the power sharing and North-South institutions are not functioning tonight as we speak at this time, nonetheless, I don't think anybody could disagree that the transformation of our society over the past 25 years has been hugely significant, hugely positive and transformative. When I think about the 1998 that I grew up in, when you think about that and where we are today in 2022, sure, it's miles apart. I'm sure you all know that yourselves in your own personal experience. So now's the conversation about what does the next 25 years look like? And beyond that 25 years, 50 years and into the future, what does that look like for us as a people? And you know, as we go along this journey of transformation and of change, I don't see any contradiction, none whatsoever, in being part of and working with others in a power shared administration in Stormont, whilst also at the same time making the case and planning for constitutional change on this island. I believe we can do both. I think that's not beyond the realms of all of us. I've spoke about change, and Declan also spoke about change, and I think that's really important because that is a ripple that's being held, or that's happening right across Irish society right now. And I do genuinely believe more and more people are enthused by the possibility of change and of building a new Ireland, something better. But I know also that the unionist parties have a very different view on all of that. And to this point, they've obviously tactically refused to engage in this conversation, but I think that's a mistake. I think it's a mistake because this is about our shared future. This is about all of us who live here. This is about every single citizen on this island. This is about our right to govern for ourselves. All of us together, shaping what that looks like is a matter for us all to work together. And I think that there's one thing that's for certain, that the only people that will ever govern in the best interests of the people here is ourselves collectively, from all our different perspectives and political perspectives and differences. Because this is our home place. This is all of our homes, all of us who live here. But I think we have a huge opportunity to make this a home place for everyone, a better home place for everyone. I'm certainly working to build a society that's not about orange and green. That can't be the case. I want to build, for every person who lives on this island, a society that identifies with a rainbow of identities, a society that's about, cherishing our multiculturalism, that embraces our diversity, but even further than that, that celebrates our diversity, because that's such a positive thing for all of us. It enriches all of our lives. And for me, that's what this is about. Better is the word that keeps coming to my mind when we talk about constitutional change. So the Good Friday Agreement itself provides for a referendum through consent, and that referendum is coming. So there is an onus on both governments to now prepare for constitutional change, but there is a particular onus on constitutional duty on the Irish Government to plan and prepare for unity. We have consistently called for the Irish Government to establish a Citizens' Assembly, and I repeat that again tonight. We don't want to bounce anybody into a referendum. We want it to be preceded by inclusive discussions and informed debate. So therefore, a Citizens' Assembly just makes good sense. In anybody's mind, it should just make good sense. The vision of a new Ireland that we offer is one which overcomes past differences, which brings our people together. I want more than just the reunification of the island. I want a unity of the people who live on the island. We want a future which consigns sectarianism to the past, in which all of our citizens, Irish, British, Northern Irish, and none of these, can live together in peace and prosperity. I also believe that it can be done. Even if you don't agree, but even if you disagree with all of what I'm saying, let's talk about it. Let's have the conversation. Let's have that yarn. Because everybody, whatever their political allegiance, they all have a voice, and they also equally have a stake in our journey of transition that we're currently on. And they also have the right to use that voice and to set out their stall, and also to have it listened to, but listened to respectfully. As I said, I believe that today at North and South, there's more people than ever before that want that new Ireland, that are hungry for that new Ireland, and who see in that new Ireland an opportunity for prosperity, an opportunity for better. Because I genuinely believe there's no limit to what we can achieve if we put our minds to it. And we have to be ambitious, not just for ourselves, but for everybody who shares this island. We must bring about an Ireland where not one single citizen is left behind. So tonight's conversation for me is about, it's part of turning that hope, that dream, into a reality. We have it within our grasp to create a peaceful, a united, and a democratic Ireland. And we can't allow those who are opposed to change to try to put the brakes on it, or to put the brakes on recasting of new relationships between Britain and Ireland, or our shared future on the island as our constitutional future becomes more closer into focus in the time ahead. So tonight, I hope that you really enjoy and you think that it's a worthwhile giving your evening up to be here and be part of this conversation. You're going to be treated as such great speakers who bring their own perspective and their own view. And I think that for me, the conversation can't just stop tonight. It has to be something that you take away, good, bad or indifferent, however how you feel about it. It's something that you have to take away with you tonight and bring into your families, your friends, your sports club, whatever your interest is in life. Continue to have the conversation, and if you believe in Irish unity, then advocate for Irish unity in whatever it is that you do. And I'll leave you just with this, because this is the thing that strikes me most about where we are at this moment in time. In life, you can't be silent. You can't be silent about the things that really matter. And for me, the better matters, the better future for each and every citizen that shares this island. So have a great evening, folks, and I really hope you enjoy it.